a presentation of Fox Sports.
It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Prime Ticket presents the Dodgers as they take on the Florida Marlins. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Monday evening to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers come home from a successful road trip. They won 5 out of 6 to take on the Marlins, who beat them 2 out of 3 in Florida. The pitching tonight, John Eli, with a record of 4-5, has been very good against the Western Division. He has struggled out of it. Left-handed Nate Robertson with a record of 5-6. He beat the Dodgers 2 years ago. Dodger record against left-handers 11-12, and at home 4-6. For the Dodgers, trying to catch the Padres, remaining 3.5 games back. Padres are idle today, so the Dodgers have that chance to pick up that half a game. We'll get to the ball game. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this.
Dodgers 5-1. They are back home hosting the Marlins. Dodgers play 14 of their next 18 here at Dodger Stadium. Let's get to Alexis pursuing perfection. Matt Kemp on the floor. He's home in back-to-back games, but yesterday's really turned things around.
Well, you notice where that pitch was that he hit. That's the pitch he was hitting out of the ballpark so regularly earlier in the year. A ball down and away. You cannot go down and away and expect to have success against him when he's swinging the bat well. If the ball went the opposite field, that's where he has most of his power.
Right now at the halfway point, 81, 9 games over 500. Considering some of the hurdles, do you like where the Dodgers are right now?
I do. You get Manny back here pretty soon. Matt Kemp's bat is getting healthy again. James Loney's having a great year. Pitching staff, for the most part, is healthy. I think you need to settle things down out there in the bullpen. But if that happens, I think this team makes a nice second-half run.
And things look good at the top of the order as well. Rafael Furcal, multi-hit games, 8 of the last 10 games. All right, hey, we're coming right back with first pitch as John Eli is taking the hill for the Blue. Vince Scully has the Call next on Prime Ticket. We'll see you after the game.
Your Southern California Hyundai dealer. Want more MPG? Hyundai has it. By Shakey's. Who holds the record for most innings pitched in a Major League season? Go to Shakey's.com/trivia. By CarMax. Now more than ever, the smart choice is CarMax. And by AT&T. TV, high-speed internet, home phone, and wireless. Visit att.com or call 1-800-PIC-ATT for details. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Monday evening to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers break the seal on their homestand with the Florida Marlins. A lovely late afternoon, early evening at about 8 minutes past 6. And the Dodgers coming home from a successful road trip that saw them win 5 out of 6. You might also remember the Dodgers had a long stretch of 18 games, 15 of which were played on the road, and they wound up splitting those 18, and that was a very tough road to follow. Matt Kemp, of course, had a big hand in yesterday's game against the Arizona Diamondbacks, but it's just about every man on the club producing as they now settle in. 14 of the next 18 games will be played here at Dodger Stadium. Let's take a look now at the Florida Marlins. They are 9.5 games behind Atlanta. Chris Coghlan, last year's Rookie of the Year, followed by Gabby Sanchez and Hanley Ramirez. Dan Uggla at second base and Cody Ross in center field. Wes Helms at third, Ronnie Polino behind the plate, Mike Stanton in right field, and the left-hander on the mound, Nate Robertson. On the mound for the Dodgers, John Eli. With a record of 4-5, the 24-year-old has done well within the Western Division. He's made 3 starts, and he is 2-0 with an earned run average of 135, and he has held the Western hitters to 188 without a home run. However, when he ventures out of the West, he is 2-5, an earned run average of about 4.5. The batting average against him is 255, and he's given up 6 home runs. So, who will he be tonight? Will he be the master of the Western Division, or will he be pushed around by the East, a ball club that finds itself 5 games under 500 and has won 8 of the last 11 played here at Dodger Stadium? So Eli getting ready, and to test him immediately, we'll take a look at the Dodgers with the leather, and it's Johnson, Kemp, and Evier in the outfield. The infield of Blake and Furcall, Belliard and Loney, and the battery with Russell Martin handling John Eli. The new manager of the Florida Marlins brings his ball club here today. That would be Edwin Rodriguez. He was managing the New Orleans Zephyrs, and he had spent about 8 years in the Florida organization. He did have a taste of the big leagues. He was originally signed by the Yankees, and from 1982 to 85, he played with the Yankees and the San Diego Padres. So Edwin Rodriguez takes over at the helm, and now let's take a look at the Marlins going against John Eli. Chris Coughlin, who was the Rookie of the Year last year, and he is certainly not slowing up, doing very, very well. Since the end of May, Coughlin is hitting .377. In fact, we're going to be looking at 3 very hot hitters in this series. Coughlin, Furcall, and Gabby Sanchez. The breaking ball over for a strike, and the count 0-1 to Chris Coughlin. He's out of Gaithersburg, Maryland, went to school at the University of Mississippi, and lives in Florida. And he takes another strike, and the count 0-2. Chris is 6'1", 195. Left-hand hitter waiting at the plate. He was a first-round pick by the Marlins, fouls a pitch away back in 2006. So he not only arrived in the big leagues in a hurry, but he had that great Rookie of the Year where he hit .344. Not a lot of power, 3 home runs, I think 9 home runs, 47 runs batted in. So the pitch now to Coughlin a little high, 1-2 the count. So Coughlin, who had 4 hits recently in a game against Tampa, and he has hit safely in 28 of his last 32. The 1-2 pitch of the left-hand hitter is a line drive, base hit into center field. So Coughlin, red hot, singles to center to open up matters, and now Sanchez, Ramirez, and Ugla in that order. Gabby Sanchez, another hot hitter since the 31st of May. He's been hitting .364, and of course he has a shot. Overall batting average .308. So he's trying to become back-to-back a Rookie of the Year with Coughlin. Right-hand hitter hitting second in the lineup and takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Gabby is born in Miami, still lives there, went to the University of Miami. His family owned batting cages in Tamiami Park, adjacent to the turnpike, and he just about lived there as a kid. Throw to first, jumping back on the bag is Coughlin. So with Coughlin at first, he has stolen 9 out of 11 and a .300 hitter at the plate. John Eli has his hands full. Coughlin taking his lead, held on by Loney. Eli looks over his left shoulder at him, now works the plate in the dirt, blocked nicely by Martin. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Gabby Sanchez waiting at the plate. They used to talk about how the lights would be out, the cars on the turnpike would be going by, and if it was very quiet, you could hear the ping of aluminum striking the balls that his father would place on the tee for him. Here's the 1-1 pitch, swung on. That's whacked into left center, base hit. Kemp over to scoop it up on the dead run, throws quickly back into second. So the Marlins have arrived. Coughlin singles to center, Sanchez singles to left center, and just like that, first and third, and nobody out. It is a cold fact for the Dodgers. They do so very, very well against the Western Division, as you know. But they have struggled outside of the West, and so has John Eli, as we pointed out. The Dodgers against the Western Division have done everything right. But against the East, they are just 4-9. So the 23-6 against the West has kept them very close, 3.5 back of San Diego. But now they venture out into the cold world. And first and third, and the all-star shortstop, Hanley Ramirez, checking in at the plate, hitting .298, 13 home runs, 52 runs batted in. First ball swinging, a fly ball to right field, settling under Ezekiel, tagging up his Coughlin. He's coming to the plate, and he will score. So it doesn't take long. 3 hitters, and the Marlins are on the board to lead 1-0 as Hanley Ramirez has the sacrifice fly to pick up Coughlin. Holding at first, Gabby Sanchez, and the batter now will be Dan Uggla. 1-0 Marlins. Dan Uggla, a power hitter without a doubt. Uggla, as he sets in, 16 home runs, 49 runs batted in, hitting .271. The name Uggla traces back to Swedish roots. In the Swedish language, Uggla means owl, and they say the name goes back to the 1300s. The pitch to Dan blocked by Martin, 1 ball and no strike. So for Dan Uggla, he's descended from a long line of noblemen. But of course, you can also understand, as a little guy growing up, he was really teased by that last name. But his father said, that's okay, it'll make him tough. Well, he's 5'11", 200, 30 years old, and waiting at the plate. Swings, hard ground ball off the glove of Eli. Cairns into shallow right field. And what might have been a double play ball is instead an infield single. The third base hit of the inning. So it is 1-0 in favor of the Marlins. 3 hits, and a former Dodger, Coley Ross, coming up. Hard ground ball. Actually, if Eli hadn't gotten his glove on the ball, I think it would have been an easy double play started by Belliard. But John lunged at it and deflected it into shallow right field. So Cody Ross hitting .289, 7 home runs, 43 runs batted in. Cody has hit in 9 straight here at Dodger Stadium. He was a Dodger 5 years ago. He takes ball 1, a throw to first, not in time to get Uggla. So first and second with 1 out, 1-0 in favor of the Marlins. Coughlin single to center, Sanchez single to left center to put runners at first and third. Ramirez fly ball picked up the run, and now Uggla singles off Eli's glove, and Cody Ross at the plate. Cody is only 5'9", but he is a big man. 7 home runs, 40 some odd RBIs, and the pitch gets away from Martin, and the runners are going to move up to second and third. So a very shaky beginning for the Dodgers. 3 hits, a scoring fly ball, and now a pitch in the dirt, which will be a wild pitch. Uggla advancing to second, and over to third goes Sanchez. So second and third, 1 away. Ross, the right-hand batter at the plate. The scoreboard shows 2-0. We have it 1 ball, 1 strike. And Eli delivers ground ball to the right side. Up with it, there's Belliard, but the run is going to score. So it is 2-0 Marlins as Sanchez carries it in on a ground ball to the right side. The inning is still not over. 2-0 in favor of Florida. And Wes Helms coming up. Wes Helms, a veteran, starting at third base. And he finds Uggla at third. Helms, a very fine pinch hitter, getting a chance to start. And the first pitch in for a strike to Wes. 0-1 the count to Wes Helms. Big right-hand batter. Helms has been around, originally signed by the Braves in 1994. He's out of Gastonia, North Carolina, and he takes low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. His father's brother, his uncle, played very much for the Cincinnati Reds, Tommy Helms. The 1-1 pitch on the way, swung on and missed. 1-2 the count. Wes Helms is 6'4", 230. And if some club is looking for a pretty reliable pinch hitter, he might be the guy. Helms has 4 hits, 3 RBIs coming off the bench. The 1-2 pitch he takes low and inside. 2-2 the count. Helms in his career with the Marlins has 45 pinch hits, so he's been the #1 pinch hitter. And since 2005, he has 68 pinch hits. But as a regular, he takes high. 3-2 the count. Waiting on deck, Ronnie Paulino, the catcher. So Wes Helms, big man out of Gastonia. Originally a 10th round pick by the Braves. And a full count with a runner at third. Eli from his stretch. Here he comes, high and away. Ball 4. So for the Dodgers, tough way to begin as they start a homestand. For Rick Honeycutt, it's a tough first inning, and he's going to go out and talk to John Eli as Ronnie Paulino, the catcher, will be coming up. Paulino is a right-handed batter. And for Ronnie Paulino, a veteran in many ways, he came up with the Pirates. He signed in 1998. And he finally made it in 2005. It was a long wait in the minor leagues. Ronnie is 6'2", 225 from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. And Pauline with the bat, he's hitting .299, 3 home runs and 28 runs batted in. So John Eli is struggling, ready to make his 21st pitch to the 7th man here in the first inning. And the Marlins on 3 hits lead 2-0. Eli leans on his left knee to get a sign. Now straightens up. Paulino waiting. And the first pitch to Ronnie is blocked by Martin. He's in the dirt again. Ball 1. So Coughlin singled. Sanchez singled. Ramirez scoring fly ball. Ugla hit one off Eli's glove. Might have been a double play ball, but it wound up a base hit. Then Ross grounded out to pick up the second run. Paulino, a ground ball to Furcall, the short way to Belliard, and that's that. So for the Marlins, they get 2 runs, 3 hits. They leave 2, and at the end of half an inning, the Marlins 2 and the Dodgers coming up. John Eli makes 22 pitches. The Marlins get 2, and the Dodgers now coming up down 2-0 in the first inning. The Dodger lineup will have Rafael Furcall, followed by Ronnie Belliard at second, Andre Ethier and Matt Kemp, Casey Blake, Gene Loney, and Russell Martin, Reed Johnson in left field batting 8th, and John Eli the pitcher. On the mound, Nate Robertson. He's out of Wichita, Kansas. You may remember he Darren Dreifert, the Dodger pitcher, went to the same university, Wichita State University. And Nate, the left-hander, originally signed by the Marlins, but he picked up with the Tigers and then came back to the Marlins. So Nate ready, and his first pitch to Furcal, a little low, ball one. Raphael working against Robertson with a record of 5-6. He beat the Dodgers 2 years ago. The 1-0 pitch, and that's in for a strike, and the count 1-1. Raphael blazing hot, hitting .338, 4 home runs, 28 runs batted in, has an 8-game hitting streak, and pulls one on the ground to third. Helms is on it and throws him out. So Furcal taps to third, 1 away, and the batter will be Ronnie Belliard. One of the interesting things in some ways with the pitcher Nate Robertson is the fact that he had Tommy John surgery back in college in 1997. He had Tommy John surgery. You would think that's pretty young to get it, as Ronnie Belliard takes a strike. However, Dr. James Andrews in Birmingham said early in May an interesting comment about the Tommy John operation as Belliard swings and misses. He said, I did 36 Tommy John procedures. Most of them were high school kids. He said, that's unbelievable. It's a major operation. The next pitch to Belliard, little pop fly coming in to get it is Uggla. And just like that, we have 2 down in the first inning. So some guys get tattoos, other guys get the Tommy John surgery. And the batter now will be Andre Ethier. Andre Ethier does exceptionally well against the Arizona Diamondbacks, but he really wears out the Florida Marlins. So the Dodger all-star right fielder checking in. Ethier, the last 2 years, well, actually 3, 08, 9, and 10, he's hitting .417 against the Marlins and pulls a fastball right down the right field line just by a diving Sanchez. Andre steams into second base with a double. Oh, can he hit? You know, a nice thing that Andre did before the game, and I don't think very many people were watching it, as with that sweet syrupy swing of his, he doubles just inside the line for the double. We probably had at least 50 Marines here before the game, both on first and third base, lining up during the pregame ceremonies and the national anthem. And when the Marines were leaving, they all walked by the Dodger dugout. Andre Ethier stood on the top step of the Dodger dugout and shook the hand of every single Marine. The pitch to Matt Kemp, low and inside, ball one. Just one of those things. He does many, many nice things far from the spotlight. So Ethier, a 2-out double to right. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way. Robertson deals a strike, and the count 1-1. For Matt Kemp, he had a rather interesting series in Arizona. Remember, he had the home run in the 8th inning to help give the Dodgers that 3-1 victory, but he hit that ball to right field. He takes a breaking ball strike, and they count 1-2. He also had a single to center. The day before, every ball he hit went to right field, and he had 6 at-bats. He had 2 fly balls. Then he had a home run to right, then another fly ball. He popped up to first, and he doubled to right. The 1-2 pitch backs him away, 2-2. So Matt Kemp, 15 home runs, 47 runs batted in, with that great inside-out swing. Of course, basically, they pitch him down in a way, and he's really been able to go the other way. The next pitch is down and in, and he swings and misses, turns and checks Gary Cederstrom whether it was a strike or not. So the Dodgers leave Ethier, and at the end of an inning, 2-0 Marlins. Second inning, Florida leading the Dodgers 2-0, and this has to be one of the bigger moments in a young man's life as Mike Stanton makes his way up to home plate. Mike is 6'5", 230. He is 20 years old. He'll be 21 in November. He went to Notre Dame Academy in Sherman Oaks, committed to USC, but then signed with the Marlins. And Stanton checking in. He started off with a bang, and so many rookies do that. His first week in the big leagues, he was 7 for 19. That's a .368 batting average. He takes a little high ball one. But since then, he's hit .159. So he's trying to come back. His overall batting average, .207. The 1-0 pitch on the way, and that's on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Mike was a 3-sport star at Notre Dame Academy. Great athlete. And he swings, fouls it away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. UNLV offered Stanton a football scholarship and a chance to walk on to play baseball. SC wanted to give him a baseball ride with a chance to walk on in football. He takes outside. 2-2 the count. So he was certainly pursued. Wonderful all-around athlete. Mike Stanton. The 2-2 pitch on the way. Swung on, lifted foul off to the right and out of play. Stanton made his big league debut June the 8th. And he broke in very well. His dad was in attendance. The Marlins were playing the Phillies in Philadelphia. And he went 3 for 5. He takes inside. He scored twice, so that was a huge day for him, and even bigger, I'm sure, for his dad. One of those kids they project someday could hit as many as 35 home runs. Here's the pitch to Mike Stanton. Swung on and pulled fair inside third and down the line. Over to get it is Reed Johnson, and the ball's not coming to him, but Stanton leading off will hold on with the double. So a big thrill to come to Dodger Stadium for a local boy, and an even bigger thrill to open up with a double down the line despite the diving effort of Casey Blake. So Stanton at second, and Eli struggling now, has allowed 4 hits, 2 runs, and Robertson, Coughlin, and Sanchez coming up. So we'll see about Robertson, whether they're asking him to bunt or not. He's showing bunt. Bunts in the air, but it's going to be at the feet of Casey Blake, and that's going to move Stanton over. So Robertson gets the bunt down. Stanton moves to third. So a good job for Nate to help his own cause. That's his 6th sacrifice, so he's pretty handy at that. And with a runner at third, 1 out, here's Coughlin, who singled his center in the first inning. Chris hitting .284, 5 home runs, 27 runs batted in. He's had a great June, hitting .377. As we mentioned, Coughlin hitting .377, Furcal .373, and Gabby Sanchez .364 since the end of May. And a full swing. Stanton comes down the line, and the throw gets behind Blake in a collision, and Stanton will score. Mike Stanton, for some reason, came down the line too far, and Russell Martin fired to third, but there was a collision with Stanton and Casey Blake, so there wasn't anybody to catch Martin's throw. And as Stanton went in, Martin's throw was in foul ground. Casey Blake wound up on his knees, and the Marlins wound up with a run, and Russell Martin winds up with an error. So the Marlins come up with a lucky run and lead now 3-0. The big thing was Stanton coming down the line. He might have hurt his hand going back to the bag a little bit. So Eli ready and delivers, and the next one swung on and missed by Coughlin. So he goes down for the 2nd out, and Gabby Sanchez coming up. Gabby Sanchez. 3-0 Florida. We'll take a look at Mike Stanton diving back. His right hand is going to go right under the right foot of Casey Blake. who then dropped to his knees as the ball went down the line. So here's Gabby Sanchez, right-hand hitter. He takes low, ball 1. 3 runs, 4 hits for the Marlins. No runs, 1 hit for the Dodgers. Second inning. If you're wondering about San Diego, they are not scheduled today. So there's a shirt tail hanging out, the half a game. If the Dodgers win, Padre lead will be 3. If the Dodgers lose, the Padre lead will be 4. Now Eli takes a little time to collect himself, backs off the rubber. He gave up 3 hits and 2 runs in the first inning, and now another run here in the second, and he's in the dirt with Martin. 2-1 the count. Gabby Sanchez singled in the first inning, batting .310, 9 home runs, 38 runs batted in. Eli ready and over the top and gets it in there for a strike, and the count 2-2. So the Marlins, who have won 8 of 11 here at Dodger Stadium, jump right out in front. And the 2-2 pitch coming up. Swung on and missed. That'll do it for Sanchez and for the Marlins, but not before they pick up the extra run on the double by Mike Stanton. And at the end of an inning and a half, 3-0 Marlins. Three to nothing Florida. Mike Stanton has a little help on his right hand. Looks like the index finger. We could see a little blood, and they've taped it up, and he's out there as Casey Blake takes a hook low, ball 1. Nate Robertson was a freshman at Wichita State right after Casey Blake had left Wichita State. The 1-0 pitch in for a strike. Blake was there 1993 through 96. Robertson was a freshman in 97. And Casey Blake has really given Nate Robertson a bad time. The left-hander's curveball is hit in the air to right center field. Cody Ross on the dead run, can't get it. It'll go to the wall. Ross picks it up. Casey steams it to second with a double. That's not as bad a time as he has given Robertson in the past, believe it or not. Casey Blake had 33 at-bats against Nate Robertson, 6 home runs. And now he has a double to add to that. So one Wichita State fella giving another a bad time. So Blake, a double. Ethier had a double with 2 out in the first inning. But the Dodgers get the leadoff man for 2. And here is James Loney to try and pick him up. Loney hitting .305. 5 home runs, 56 runs batted in. He has really been a run-producing machine, and he takes off the plate, ball 1. Loney 0 for 2 in the past against Nate Robertson. James 7th in the league with the 56 RBIs. 5th in the league with 95 hits. And the 1-0 pitch swung on and missed. 1-1. Loney, so valuable, is hitting .348 with runners on base, .362 with runners in scoring position. And the 1-1 pitch on the way. Loney backs off, curveball pays the price, and a 1-2 count. So Nate Robertson trying to balance his books, 5 and 6, and Casey Blake at second base, nobody out. Robertson's 1-2 pitch is a curveball down and away. Nate was raised in a military family. His dad was a master sergeant in the maintenance division of the Army. Nate from the plains of Kansas, and Loney a chopper to the right side. Routine play for Ugla, but it does move Casey Blake over to third. So 1 away, and the batter will be Russell Martin. So Loney moves his man up a notch. 3-0 Marlins, second inning, and here's Russell. Martin hitting .245, 4 home runs, 18 runs batted in, just 0 for 2 against Nate Robertson. Nate out of his stretch, Blake down the line from third, Martin takes inside, ball 1. Nate Robertson working on Russell Martin, bottom of the second. Marlins 3, Dodgers 0. Russell has picked off 4 men so far this year and picks up another as he drives one into center for a base hit, cashing in Casey Blake. So that makes it Marlins 3, Dodgers 1, and the batter will be Reed Johnson. Three runs, 4 hits for the Marlins, 1 run, 3 hits for the Dodgers. And Reed Johnson, who always plays well, especially against left-handers. He's hitting .359 against left-hand pitching this year, and in his career, he has always done well against left-hand pitching. So he checks and waits, and Robertson ready, and the left-handed delivers. Ground ball, base hit. Johnson does it again, and that moves Martin up to second base. So Nate Robertson gives up a double to Blake, singles to Martin and Johnson, and the batter now will be John Eli with 1 out, and of course the Marlins are going to be looking bunt. Eli checking with Larry Boa and perhaps doesn't quite get the message, so Boa comes all the way down to talk to him. For John Eli, he does checking to see sacrifices, and he has 3. So I'm sure they're going to ask him to move the runners along. The Marlins are positive. Sanchez and Helms. Robertson looks down the barrel to get a sign from Paulino. Eli shows bunt and gets it down, runs into the bunt. Let's see, was he out of the batter's box or not? And the plate umpire, Cederstrom, said no, he was still in the batter's box. But here comes Edwin Rodriguez to argue. He's going to claim that Eli had run into his own bunt outside of the batter's box and he'd be out. So he took 1 step, and the plate umpire immediately pointed towards the batter's box. It hit him up around the chest while he was still in the batter's box. So the videotape shows that Gary Cederstrom made a good call. So Edwin Rodriguez, in his first interim moment at Dodger Stadium as the skipper goes back to the dugout. One other thing, you know, Edwin Rodriguez became the first Puerto Rican native to win a Major League Baseball game as a manager. He was born in Ponce in Puerto Rico. The bunt is down. This one's a good one. Robertson is to fire just in time. Boy, what a tough play that is for Dan Ugla. Because first the pitcher is throwing as hard as he can, but by the time he got it there, the ball and the runner Eli arrived almost at the same time, and Ugla, holding his ground, reaches in, makes the catch, and then jerks that glove out of the way. tough play, and Ugla made it very well. So the sacrifice now puts the tying runners at second and third, and the batter will be the Dodgers' hottest hitter, Rafael Furcal. Furcal grounded to third in the first inning. Of course, against a left-hander, Rafael turns around, but even batting right-handed, he is hitting .304. He has hit safely in 8 games. You may remember he had 7 straight multi-hit games, and he had to settle for a double and a walk in the last game in Arizona. So here he is now with first base open, and the Marlin lead 3-1. Robertson out of a stretch, checks the runners and delivers, flips it in there for a strike, and the count 0-1. So Nate Robertson in some trouble. He has Russell Martin at third, Reed Johnson at second. The strike one pitch for Cole takes low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Marlins scored 2 in the first. Each team has scored once here in the second. The 1-1 pitch to Furcal is swung on and fouled back, and the count 1-2. When Nate Robertson was at Wichita State, you remember the pitcher Braden Looper? Braden Looper was about 2 years ahead of Robertson, but they were teammates, and Looper helped him a great deal. He wears glasses on the field and contacts off the field, and the pitch to Furcal fouled away, and he's still there 1-2. Nate Robertson, in talking about his parents, he said, I had a mom and dad who taught me that food on the table was a gift, and it was good enough. You might tell that to your own children if they balk about the vegetables touching the potatoes. The pitch to Furcal is low. 2-2 to count. Nate, when he was with Detroit, and he was with the Tigers from 2003 through last year, then he joined the Marlins this year, still makes his home in Michigan. His wife was a flight attendant on Spirit Airlines. 2-2 pitch is taken low. So 3-2 the count to Rafael, with Ronnie Belliard waiting on deck. Marlins 3, Dodgers 1, and they're after each other here in the second inning. Nate looks down the barrel to get a sign. Furcal waiting, and the 3-2 pitch is swung on and lifted to right center, high enough for either man to make it, and it'll be Cody Ross, and that's that. So Furcal, a fly ball. 2 men left, 1 man in, and at the end of 2, Marlins 3, Dodgers 1. Marlins lead the Dodgers 3-1 as we go to the third inning. We can tell you the Giants polished off the Brewers 6-1. Giants went ahead on a late error, pulled away on Aubrey Huff's 2 RBI single. Jonathan Sanchez won his 7th. By the way, Buster Posey hit his 3rd home run. And for Milwaukee, Corey Hart extended his hitting streak to 20 games. San Diego and Colorado are idle. Third inning, second time around, Hanley Ramirez will start it off. Then it'll be Dan Uggla and Cody Ross. Hanley Ramirez and Josh Johnson, whom we're going to see in the final game, they are the 2 all-stars for the Florida Marlins. And the first pitch to Ramirez is low, ball 1, 1-0. Ramirez is a remarkable young ball player. He was the Rookie of the Year in 2006. He was the batting champion last year when he hit .342. He swings, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count on the foul ball. Hanley is from Samana in the Dominican Republic and was originally signed by the Boston Red Sox in 2000. 1-1 the count. Hanley is 6'3", 195, 26 years old. Takes low and inside, ball 2, 2-1. He has been accused, and it happens to a lot of guys who have such overwhelming ability. He's been accused a couple of times of not hustling, got into arguments with his manager, but boy, he can play, and he whacks one into the gap in left center. Kemp holds it on a bounce and gets it in. So Ramirez, who had the scoring fly ball in the first inning, a line drive single to center, opening up matters in the third. And for John Eli, he is certainly not fooling them. He has given up 5 hits and 3 runs in 2 innings plus. And here is Dan Uggla. One of the great notes about Dan Uggla is the fact that he has hit 137 home runs in his young career. Dan waiting, and the first pitch in for a strike, and the count 0-1. Uggla with those 137 in his first 5 years passed the great Joe Gordon, who had 125 for the Yankees. 0-1 the count to Dan. Eli at the belt, comes back Uggla, right-hand hitter, grounds it foul right into and around the Dodger dugout and up into the stands. That one down in the far corner. Hiroki Kuroda, Manny Ramirez, whole bunch of them on the rail. Vicente Padilla. For Manny, not a hair out of place. 0-2 the count. Ramirez at first, nobody out in the third. 3-1 Marlins. Eli ready, comes to his hitter and misses inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dan Uggla. He spent 5 years at Double-A in the Arizona organization. 5 years, and they let him get away. Throw to first, not in time. Hanley Ramirez held on by James Loney over there. Hanley has stolen 15 out of 20. I mean, let's face it, he does everything exceptionally well. Uggla, meanwhile, takes high. 2-2 the count. Uggla with 16 home runs. When he hits 6 more, he'll become the Marlins all-time home run leader. He'll pass Gary Sheffield. Now the 2-2 pitch coming up. And it's up and in, ball 3. 3-2. Three runs, 5 hits for the Marlins. 1 run, 4 hits for the Dodgers. Top of the third. Hanley at first. We'll see if they run him full count, nobody out. Eli set at the belt. He's not going. And there's a ground ball up the middle. A diving stop by Furcal, but he can't make the play. A tremendous effort by Raphael, but he was completely down. No way to get to a knee. No way to get the ball to his second baseman. He gets a round of applause for the great effort. And for Uggla, a base hit. So Raphael diving at the ball. You know, I remember, and I'm sure they would admit it, when the Dodgers had Davey Lopes and Bill Russell playing at second base. I remember Russell saying, I'm not going to dive at a ball. I'm afraid to get hurt. I want to play every day. And Lopes didn't like to dive at a ball either. But for Call, he's all over the place. 2 on, nobody out. Cody Ross, a line drive just over for Call's glove. So holding up for the moment was Ramirez, and he now goes to third. And the bases are loaded with nobody out for Wes Helms. So for John Eli, he has stepped out of the National League West, and for whatever reason, he's being pushed around. He has now allowed 7 hits in 2 innings because he does not have anybody out in the third. Wes Helms walked in the first inning, hitting .257, 3 home runs, 13 runs batted in. Dodger infield is back in double play depth. Eli delivers, and he's high with a fastball, ball 1. For Wes Helms, basically a fly ball hitter. He is grounded into 3 double plays. And waiting on deck, the catcher, Ronnie Paulino. Eli straightens up, set, ready, and the 1-0 pitch is taken for a strike. Wes Helms, who's been around, has 3 career grand slams. The last one he hit in Cincinnati 6 years ago. At third is Ramirez. At second, Ugla. And at first, Ross. Now the 1-1 pitch on the way. Ground ball up the middle. This time the dive by Furcal. He can't get his glove on it. 2 runs will score. Ross stops at second. And the Marlins are opening it up now. 5-1. And now the Dodgers will get somebody up in the bullpen. John Eli has given up 4 consecutive hits. And down in the pen, Jeff Weaver gets up. So Ramirez scores on the single. Ugla scores on the single. Ross stops at second. 5-1 in favor of the Marlins. By the way, Cody Ross, who is standing at second base right now, when he singled in this third inning. We didn't mention the fact that he's extended his hitting streak. Here is a visiting player who has hit safely in 10 straight at Dodger Stadium. And, of course, rubbing salt in the wounds, a former Dodger. Meanwhile, Rick Honeycutt out at the mound talking to Eli. 5 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Marlins. 1 run, 4 hits, 1 error for the Dodgers. And, of course, for Honeycutt and Eli, the thought of this one slip sliding away. Marlins had 2 runs on 3 hits in the first inning. Then they had a double good for a run in the second. And now they have 4 more singles to open it up. So for Joe Torre, after a good homestand, then going out for that long road trip, 15 out of 18 on the road, did well enough. Then winning 5 of the last 6 on the road, it is a rude welcome home. And the pitch to Ronnie Paulino inside under the hands, ball 1, 1-0. So the big catcher hitting .298, 3 home runs, 28 runs batted in. Out of a stretch goes Eli. Back he comes, and this one is in there. So 1 ball and 1 strike to count to Ronnie Paulino. Paulino right now ranks 3rd in the National League in batting average for catchers, hitting .298. Miguel Olivo hitting .308. That's foul back to the screen. 1-2 the count. So Paulino trying to join the fun. Nobody out. Ramirez singled to center. Ugla singled up the middle. Ross singled to center. Helms singles to center to drive in 2. And the 1-2 pitch to Paulino. Eli delivers. Big overhand curve in the dirt. And the count 2-2. As we mentioned, against the Western Division, in 3 starts, he is 2-0 with a 1.3 ERA, and the opposition hitting in the 180s. Stepping outside the West, 2-5, and an earned run average of almost 4.5. John delivers, and it is swung on and missed, and so Paulino makes the first out by going down on strikes. Also for Eli, that would be his third strikeout. And here is Mike Stanton. Tommy Hutton, who played for the Dodgers many years ago and is now the analyst for the Florida Marlins, gave us a cute story to pass along, talking about the respect that Mike Stanton has. The youngster takes off the plate, ball one, 1-0. He was called up and joined the team in Philadelphia. We told you that, how his dad went back and he went 3 for 5. Well, they played 6 road games, and then they returned to South Florida. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Mike, and that's high and away, ball 2. Anyway, the morning of the first home game, he called Wes Helms and asked Wes what he needed to wear to home games. Shows you where his mind is. Trying to make a good impression. The 2-0 pitch, big bounce to the third, picked nicely by Blake, down to Belliard for a force. Stanton safely aboard at first, and taking third is Cody Ross. So Stanton, who doubled in the second inning, hits into the force play. Nate Robertson, the pitcher, coming up. Robertson sacrificed in the second inning, and looking at his numbers, he has 4 hits. He is a contact man. He's had about 32, 33 plate appearances, and he's only struck out 5 times. 5-1 Marlins in the third, and the first pitch is low, ball 1. Weaver down in the bullpen has reached the stage where he would make a pitch and watch to see before throwing another one. Don't want to leave it down there. The 1-0 pitch to Nate Robertson, left-hand pitcher, right-hand batter, and he hits a bullet into center for a base hit. So scoring is Ross. It's a 3-run inning, and that makes it 6-1 Marlins as Stanton at second base. So Nate Robertson, line drive single, and the hit parade continues. In fact, it ends right now. Here comes Joe heading for the mound, and for John Eli, another frustrating appearance outside of the Western Division. All smiles in the Marlin dugout, with Hanley Ramirez and Cody Ross having fun. It is 6-1 Marlins, and we'll be back.
Now coming into pitch for the Dodgers, number 36.
First, 1 in the second, 3 here in the third. So he lasted 2 2/3, giving up 9 hits, 6 runs, and giving the ball to Jeff Weaver. Weaver in his 29th game, picking up the pieces. For John Eli, by the way, made 62 pitches. So Weaver getting ready with a 5-1 record and an ERA of 4. And he'll start off against Chris Coughlin, who began the day with a base hit and then struck out in the second inning. 2 on, 2 out, 3 in. 6-1 Florida. The Marlins came in here 4th place, 9.5 games behind Atlanta. Dodgers began in 2nd place, 3.5 behind San Diego. So Weaver ready, and Big Jeff makes his first pitch, and it finds the outside corner for a strike, and the count 0-1. So the rookie of the year, who's been blazing hot since the end of May, he's hit .377, so that's lifted his overall average to .283. The strike one pitch on the way. Weaver looks back at Stanton at second. Now the right-hander back to the plate, and the fastball fouled away, and the count 0-2. So Coughlin, left-hand hitter, in and out of the box. Chris from Maryland. Stanton taking his lead at second. Robertson the pitcher at first. And the strike 2 pitch on the way sails inside under the hands. 1-2 the count. So Jeff Weaver trying to restore order. Chris Coughlin waiting. 1-2 the count. Weaver a look back at Stanton, comes back to Coughlin, who pops it up into shallow left field for call out, but Johnson is there to make the catch. So Weaver gets the out, and the top of the 3rd inning is in the books, but not before Eli is charged with 3 more, and it's 6-1 Marlins. Full line of hybrid and fuel-efficient vehicles at your Toyota dealer today. And by K-Swiss. The Marlins lead the Dodgers 6-1. They have 9 hits. I can remember years ago the great Stan Musial saying whenever he was in a hitting slump, he would try to hit the ball up the middle. Well, the Marlins arrived here certainly not in a hitting slump, but for Edwin Rodriguez, he was able to sit back and watch his ball club have 7 of the 9 hits up the middle. The only balls hit the other way was Stanton's double over third, and there was one other scoring fly ball to right and the single off the glove of John Eli. Meanwhile, Ronnie Belliard, Andre Ethier, and Matt Kemp trying to dig out from under. 6-1 Marlins, bottom of the third. Belliard struggling since April and takes high, 2-1. You may remember last year he struggled most of the year. Dodgers picked him up and he had a red hot September, hitting overall .233. Robertson ready in the 2-1 pitch. He spins a breaking ball, but it stays up. So 3-1 the count to Ronnie Belliard. Nate Robertson leading 6-1, and his 3-1 pitch on the way outside. So Belliard draws a walk. Dodgers have had 2 doubles and 2 singles for 1 run. And now here's Andre Ethier, who doubled to right field in the first inning. First pitch was a fastball, and he just hit that thing like a blur by a diving Gabby Sanchez inside the right field line. 5th year in the majors, 28 years old and an all-star. On deck, Matt Kemp. Robertson set at the belt, left-hander to the plate, half swing on a breaking ball. That'll cost a strike, and the count 0-1. Dodgers have struggled against left-hand starters. They're 1 game under .500, 11-12, and they're 2 games under .500 at home, 4-6. Strike 1, fastball is lined to right, coming up and short hopping it is Stanton. To second base goes Belliard. Mike Stanton on that sinking line drive to right did well to short hop it. Ethier hits the ball hard to right. Also, Stanton appeared to start to go back a little bit, and that was the difference between catching it and short hopping it. But boy, what great reflexes he showed, being able to short hop that sinking line drive. So Ethier is 2 for 2. Dodgers now 1st and 2nd, nobody out. And here's Matt Kemp. Struck out in the first inning on a pitch down and in. 1 home run in the previous 25, 3 home runs in the last 4, and he pulls 1 foul outside of third. 0-1 to count. As Kemp was saying, he is using his hands more for that inside out swing, hitting so many balls to right field and right center. 0-1 to Matt. 2 on, nobody out. 6-1 Marlins, bottom of the third. Fastball in there for a strike. 0-2. Kind of a tough time at 7:13. The lights are on. They don't take great effect at all. The canopy is still blue with some white clouds up there as well. And the strike 2 pitch to Matt Kemp swung on and fouled away. On deck, Casey Blake. No balls and 2 strikes to Matt Kemp. Ethier, who has singled to right. Belliard advancing to second. And the strike 2 pitch to Matt Kemp. Robertson's fastball, a high chopper to Ramirez, waits for the hop. That's going to cost them. They'll only get the force play. So Ramirez could not charge it, and that took the DP away. Taking third is Belliard. 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Casey Blake coming up. Don't forget Friday, the Dodgers and the Cubs, and the first 20,000 fans take home a limited edition Young Guns poster featuring the Dodger pitching staff, presented by MSI Computers. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS. 6-1 Marlins, 3rd inning. 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Here's Casey Blake. And swings, doesn't get the first one. 0-1. Casey in 33 at-bats hit 6 home runs against Nate Robertson. That's staggering. And then first time up tonight, he doubled to deep right center. The strike 1 pitch on the way is swung on and missed. 0-2. In his career, Blake hitting .319 against the Marlins. 2 home runs and a half a dozen runs batted in. Robertson set, and the strike 2 pitch, that's a little low. 1-2 the count. With Robertson, you figure fastball, slider, change, and a cutter. And the changeup has improved since he really started to throw it 4 years ago. Belliard at third, Kemp at first, and he misses low. 2-2 the count to Casey Blake. On deck, James Loney. 1 out, 6-1 Marlins in the third. Blake waiting, and the 2-2 pitch on the way, swung on and missed. And down goes Casey Blake. So a big out. That would be the second strikeout for Nate Robertson, and with 2 out, the batter is James Loney. Loney grounded out in the second inning. Loney against Robinson, 0 for 1 tonight, 0 for 3 in the few times he has faced him. Had a huge series in Arizona. And the first pitch to Loney, a check swing. They're going to look at third. Swing, says Marty Foster, and the count 0-1. Loney more interested in whether he checked on a strike or a ball. 0-1 the count. Now the strike 1 pitch, down and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hope you're having a nice holiday, if indeed you're off today. If you're not, well, maybe this will help move the evening along. The 1-1 pitch, and there goes the runner, Kemp. The throw, short hop, and not in time. Coming down the line, since Hanley is on the ground, and scoring is Belliard. So Matt Kemp took off. Paulino threw a short hop throw to Hanley, who was down on his knees and upended by Kemp. And Belliard just took off, and there was no way Hanley Ramirez could make a throw. So the Dodgers steal one for sure as Belliard brings it in. And the Marlin lead is 6-2. Matt Kemp getting a stolen base. Not much Hanley could do. Legs cut right out from under him. 1-2 the count to James Loney. And here comes the pitch from Nate Robertson off the plate. 2-2. We'll see now if they're going to call it a delayed double steal or an error. And they're going to put an error on Ronnie Paulino on that low throw that took Ramirez out of any return throw to the plate. The 2-2 pitch way off the plate. Ball 3. 6 runs, 9 hits for the Marlins. 2 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. Martin waiting on deck. Loney up there 3-2. Robertson ready. Nate delivers. There's a 1-hop diving stop indeed by Hanley Ramirez. It looked like it was going to hit the dirt, and Hanley diving and backhanded it for the out. So the Dodgers wind up getting 1 on 1 hit and a stolen base and an error, and it's 6-2 Marlins. with curly fries and a drink for only $3.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. And by your Southern California Ford dealers, where you'll find the new Transit Connect. Check it out at scforddealers.com. The Hyundai key to the game, with the Marlins leading 6-2, has certainly been Florida's offense. 8 of the 9 batters have a base hit and at least 1 run or RBI. Paulino has hit into a forced play, struck out, and committed an error. Everybody else having some fun. Here's Gabby Sanchez, single to center, struck out, scored a run. 0-1. And he pops it up into right field. Ethier's there. So 1 out. And the batter will be Hanley Ramirez. Had the sacrifice fly in the first inning to score Coghlan. Single to center and came around to score in the third. And Weaver wants a new ball to work with as Ramirez checks in. Weaver and Ramirez. Hanley is 1 for 2 against him. Starting all-star shortstop, 3rd straight year, an outstanding young player. Wow. And ball 1. He has a ranch in the Dominican Republic. It's called the H2R Ranch. And he drives one to right center, slicing a room service fly ball to Ethier. 2 down. Well, we have a minute. Time to put on your thinking cap. Andre Ethier, the 5th Los Angeles Dodger outfielder voted to start the All-Star game. Can you name the other 4? That's some wonderful outfielders over the years here. 2 consecutive outs. That's a story. Jeff Weaver getting them on Sanchez and Ramirez. Now here's Dan Uggla. Ball 1. Uggla, born in Louisville, lives in Columbia, Tennessee, went to the University of Memphis. And ball 2. Uggla signed a 1-year deal for this year. You know, I've read an interesting thing. I cut the thing out of the paper. Thought I'd share it with you. Here's the 2-0 pitch on the way. Now, Uggla, for instance, signed a contract for about $8 million. And, of course, ownership has insurance policies on players. How about this one? A Formula One driver, Fernando Alonso, his thumbs have been insured for $13.4 million. I mean, Betty Grable's legs, yes, but Fernando Alfonso's thumbs. 2-1 the count. Now the 2-1 pitch coming up off the plate. 3-1 the count. We're talking about money. They did a survey because of the World Cup. The value of players and the highest value put on a player, and the value has to do with performance and marketing. That's ball 4. The number 1 team, Spain, their average player value is $38 million. The average player. And their most valuable player, Xavi Hernandez, $87.4 million. So the cup runneth over. A 2-out walk to Uggla. And here's Cody Ross. Cody hitting .291. 0-1 the count. Ross is one of those fellows who'll play hurt. One big reason, toughness runs in the family. His father played football at the University of New Mexico, and he had 5 knee surgeries. Three of the knee surgeries playing football, another after a steer wrestling event. And then Cody's sister hyperextended her knee and tore her ACL playing basketball. 1-1. So Cody is very competitive, very scrappy, a real grinder, trying to advance Ugla from first. 5'9", 205 pounds. They pay him a great compliment when they say he reminds them of Craig Biggio of the Astros. And lifts it to Reed Johnson in left field. And that'll be that. 3 fly balls and a walk. No runs, no hits, a man left. And at the end of 3.5 innings, Marlins 6, Dodgers 2. Daniels. Remember our trivia question? It had to do with Andre Ethier being the 5th LA Dodger outfielder voted to the All-Star game. Who are the other 4? Jimmy Wynn, Rick Monday, Reggie Smith, and Darryl Strawberry. And we go to the bottom of the 4th, 6-2 Marlins, and ball 1 to Russell Martin. I will drop it. I will not continue with it, but one last thought about the World Cup players and their values, because we're always talking about how much money this guy makes, etc. in baseball. Lionel Messi of Argentina, his value $107.6 million. So the one guy singing "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina" would be Lionel Messi. They've been eliminated, but $100 million. Ground ball to Ramirez, 1 away. Earlier we had the thought about Casey Blake and the fact that Casey had faced Nate Robertson only 33 at bats, and Blake had hit 6 home runs against Nate Robertson. And we were wondering, of all the active players, who has hit more home runs against one pitcher than Casey Blake? 6. That's a strike. Mark Teixeira had 6 home runs in only 11 at-bats against Bruce Chen. Adam Dunn, 6 home runs in 19 at-bats against Kevin Millwood. Andre Ethier, 6 home runs, 29 at-bats against Chris Young. Alex Rodriguez, 6 home runs, 30 at-bats against Jeff Suppan. And then we come to the winner. 0-2 to Reed. Ground ball to the hole by the diving Ramirez. Well, Johnson is 2 for 2. No surprise against a left-hander. And the batter will be Jeff Weaver. Anyway, Jamie Moyer, the veteran left-hander pitching for the Phillies. Well, Manny Ramirez has hit 10 home runs in 53 at-bats against Jamie Moyer. But wow, Mark Teixeira, 6 home runs in 11 at-bats against a major league pitcher. Weaver shows bunt, swings away, fouls it back. 0-1. Weaver with the bat. Only had 3 at-bats. He has 1 hit. On deck, Rafael Furcal. Dodgers played the bunt in the 2nd inning. Weaver now showing bunt. 6 runs, 9 hits for the Marlins, 2 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers, and we're in the bottom of the 4th inning. The bunt missed. 0-2. If you joined us late, the ship sailed as far as John Eli is concerned. He gave up 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 3 in the third, and he was gone. Dodgers a run in the second and a run in the third to get a little closer, but they're still down 6-2. 0-2. Might have gone after a pitch out of the strike zone, but he has 2 strikes on him. Still 0-2 to Jeff. Weaver checking with Bo to see if they might come back with a bunt. Ball 1. This is game 1 of the 3-game series. Chris Volstad and Vicente Padilla on KCAL 9. Then Wednesday, Josh Johnson and Hiroki Kuroda. Chopper to third. He out at first. Down to second goes Johnson. And it'll bring up Rafael Furcal. You know, baseball's biggest stars head-to-head for one spectacular night this summer on Fox, bringing you every thrilling moment of this year's MLB All-Star Game. And the coverage begins Tuesday, July 13th, live from Anaheim at 5 p.m. Pacific, only on Fox. Rafael grounded to third, flied to center. Did have 1 shot at them, second and third, and 2 out in the 2nd inning when he hit the ball in the air to center field. Rafael hitting .335, ball 1. Furcal coming back following his father's death, and he's just been unbelievable. And since the 15th of June, came in here hitting .474, ball 2, 2-0. He is also in the leadoff role, scored a run in 10 straight games. And ball 3. Another thing, he has scored a run in 10 straight. He's hitting .364 with runners in scoring position. So 3-0, taken all the way for a strike. Six runs, 9 hits for the Marlins, 2 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers. Big bouncer, foul ball. No play. So Rafael come back and try it again. Furcal with 4 home runs, 28 runs batted in. With everything else, he has stolen 12 bases, as well as playing sensational shortstop. 3-2. Foul back. Slider jumped in at the hands. 3-2 the count. Ronnie Belliard on deck. Trying to pick up Reed Johnson. That's the role of Rafael Furcal. And pick him up, I should say. A long drive to left field. She is gone. Rafael Furcal drives one into the pavilion, and the Dodgers get back in the game. The Marlin lead is 6-4. For Rafael, his 5th home run and his 2nd hit right-handed. Ball 1 to Belliard. Boy, he has just become a tower of strength for the Dodgers. Rafael Furcal. Belliard pops it in the air, foul. Polino coming back, no play. So Rafael Furcal brings the Dodgers back into the game as he talks to Garrett Anderson, gesturing with his right hand about the pitch down. Whatever, he got it, got all of it. One ball and one strike. Ball 2. With the left-hander Nate Robertson on the mound, they're going to get somebody up in the Marlins bullpen, or as they call it, the fish tank, fouled away. Robertson has not really been convincing. Gave up a double in the 1st inning, gave up a double for a run, and just did get off the hook in the 2nd. Gave up a run in the 3rd, and now gives up 2 more. Belliard still hacking away, 1 and 2. 6 runs, 9 hits for the Marlins, 4 runs, 7 hits for the Dodgers. Marlins at one stage led 6-1. And we're only in the 4th. Alejandro Sanabia up in the bullpen, the right-hander. Two and 2. And that's going to go foul off first base, back into the crowd. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ronnie Belliard. Belliard on the road trip, Dodgers won 5 out of 6, but he went 0 for 11. He had a rough month of June, hitting under 200. And that's foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Belliard playing second base today has now played 1,184 games at second. Hits one off the end of the bat, pops it up to the right side to Ugla, and that'll be that. But the Dodgers get 2. Rafael Furcal hits his 5th, his 2nd right-handed, and Nate Robertson is burned, and the Dodgers very much back in the game. Marlins lead 6-4. Thanks to Rafael Furcal, the Dodgers inch a little closer, but the Marlins still lead now 6-4. For Furcal, 3 home runs in his last 5 games after 2 home runs in the first 47. And that's ball 1 to Helms. Wes Helms has walked and singled. 1 ball and no strikes. That's a strike. Wes hitting .264, 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in. Fouled away. Rafael Furcal in his career has hit as many as 15 home runs, done that twice, 4 years ago for the Dodgers and 7 years ago for the Braves. Last year he hit 9, so he has 5 right now. 1-2 to Wes Helms. Oh, that's that mean come by way of third base. 2-2. So you come by way of third, hoping the hitter bails, and you throw a slider, which is going to get away from him anyway. 2-2. And then you try to come back inside, only you miss. Three balls, 2 strikes. And lifted off first base. Loney coming over and leans in and makes the play. So Wes Helms fouls out. 1 out in the 5th inning. Jeff Weaver has certainly restored order. It was a runaway game with John Eli. He had given up 6 runs, 9 hits. Weaver has gotten 5, 6 outs, a walk, and facing Ronnie Paulino. Ball 1. Paulino hit into a force play and struck out, hitting .296. On the outside looking in. Fastball sliced to right. Ethier's there. 2 down. Weaver getting all of his outs on balls in the air. Coughlin fly ball to left. Sanchez Ramirez fly balls to right. Ross a fly ball to left. Helms fouling out to Loney, and now Paulino fly ball to right. So here's Mike Stanton, double, scored a run, and hit into a force play in the 3rd inning. He was stepped on by Casey Blake, cutting the index finger of his right hand. When he came down the line from third, Martin took a shot at him, and the next thing you know, the ball was down the left field line, and Stanton brought the run in. 0-1. That's to the screen. Stanton certainly has the short, compact features of an athlete, a fighter pilot, you name it. .6'5", 230, and 20 years old. In there. 1-1. One and 2. Stanton last year had shoulder tendonitis, but he worked through it. In October, he had a sore back playing winter ball. 1-2. Wouldn't bite. That slider down and away. 2-2. again showing very good discipline. Pitches just off the plate. One slider after another, 3-2. Marlins are convinced he is a 5-tool player, a number 2 pick just 3 years ago. Hopped in the air, foul behind the plate. That'll go back into the crowd. Stanton moved quickly. Gulf Coast League, New York Penn League, Sally League, Florida State League. Here he is. And the slider finally got him. So the Marlins go 1-2-3, and at the end of 4.5 innings, it is 6-4 Marlins. Ethier, Kemp, and Blake coming up.
Bottom of the fifth for the Dodgers. Right fielder number 16, Andre Ethier.
Jeff Weaver has done a fine job of restoring order as the Dodgers get close, trailing 6-4. We have a moment to remind you the Coca-Cola Value Pack is now available for Thursday, including 4 tickets, 4 Dodger dogs, 4 Cokes, and 4 Kemp action figures for $17 per seat. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/specials or call 866-DODGERS. Andre Ethier starting it off 2 for 2 with a double and a single. And drives it to right. Stanton goes back and makes a nice play. Boy, what a tough out is Andre Ethier. He was hitting .417 against Florida coming in. A double, a single, and then it takes a fine play by Stanton to take a hit away from him. One away. Good play by young Mike. So we have seen him hit. We've seen him run a little bit. Now we see him catch. And Ethier has seen it all. Doing that with a somewhat injured right hand. Ball 1 to Matt Kemp. Matt struck out and hit into a force play. Stole a base. And in sliding in, he knocked Hanley Ramirez down. And Belliard came home to score. Well, Hanley, he was completely taken out of the game. And Belliard at third knew that Hanley, with all of his talents, could not throw the ball to home. Little ground ball to third. Wes Helms, 2 down. And the batter will be Casey Blake. Casey Blake doubled and struck out. 1 for 2. We're in the 5th inning with 2 outs, and the Marlins lead 6-4. Nice crowd in a holiday mood, and of course following the game they'll be invited down on the field, settle in, and watch the fireworks. Strike. This kind of an interesting day in sports, going all the way back to 1991. Little ground ball. Here comes Ramirez, throws on the run and throws it away, pulling his first baseman off the bag. To Hanley Ramirez. Usually when you see an infielder throwing on the run, he's going to throw high. And he really threw high. And it was a great save by Gabby Sanchez.
First baseman, number 7, James Loney.
If you're keeping score, no word yes, hit or error. And it's going to be E6. So Ramirez draws the error. And the batter now, James Loney. Strike. Since Ramirez is the all-star shortstop, we would be remiss if we didn't tell you he has made 12 errors. For a call, has made 10. 0-1. 1-1. Back in 1991, the Colorado Rockies and the Florida Marlins received unanimous approval from owners to join the National League in 1993. So technically today was the birth of the Florida Marlins. 1-1 with the runner going and the throw down waiting for him. So Casey Blake trying a surprise steal, but it didn't work. Paulino nails him, and it's still 6-4 Marlins. For a record of sorts was set. Dodgers played the Montreal Expos, and the game was broadcast in English, in French, in Spanish, in Chinese, and Korean. Probably more split infinitives and dangling participles were made that day than in the history of broadcasting Major League Baseball. But who knew? Let's go back to this one. Six to 4 in favor of Florida, and we're working our way along to the 6th. Nate Robertson will start it off. He'll be followed by Chris Cochran and then Gabby Sanchez. Robertson sacrificed. That led to a run in the second inning. Single to center. He has 1 RBI, hitting .217. Strike. Jeff Weaver doing a great job in relief of young John Eli. Little slider, 1 ball, 1 strike. fastball in there. 1-2. Jeff Weaver had made 32 pitches starting this inning. And not a lot of thing but a walk. Breaking ball. Kept that in on the hands with the curveball, and it's still 1-2. The only man to reach thus far was Uggla's walk, and as we mentioned, 1 strikeout and all the other outs, balls hit in the air. Fastball, 2-2. Jeff hitting 92 on the gun. And another fastball. Tough play for Blake. Bare hand pickup. And his throw in time. Pretty play. So Casey Blake from Wichita State makes a fine play to throw out Nate Robertson of Wichita State. Then we have 1 out in the 6th inning. Chris Coughlin, the Rookie of the Year last year, single to center, struck out, fly to left, 1-for-3, hitting .282. That's a strike. Coughlin's first Major League Baseball home run was in Miller Park in Milwaukee. He tried to get the ball back, but it was really difficult because of all the people in the world. The fellow who caught the home run ball had his own blog posted and referred to himself as Brewtown's Ball Hawk, and he boasted of having caught 48 home runs. Well, Chris offered him signed memorabilia, and eventually they got the ball. The bunt's foul. What did you do with the ball after all that negotiating? Chris gave it to his mom. Watching him try to bunt reminds us that it was in June the 12th last year, when he got his first bunt single of his career at any level. How about that? And he just tried to dump one now. He was brand new to the world last year before he was Rookie of the Year. In fact, he ordered a new supply of bats from Louisville Slugger, and they were engraved with the Los Angeles Dodgers below his name instead of the Florida Marlins. 2-2. But now they know Chris Coughlin of the Marlins, he is a big fish. First round pick, had a big year. 2-2. 3-2. What did Coughlin do with the bats with his name on it in Los Angeles Dodgers? He used every one of them and hit a home run with one. Advice of a friend told him to save one, which he did, and he broke all the others. Fouled away. Three and two the count to Chris Coughlin. 25 years old. Figures he'll be with the Marlins for quite a while. 3-2. Out of the way again. So he's making Weaver work. So far, 7-pitch at bat. Three and two to Chris Coughlin. 6-4 Marlins with 1 out, 6th inning. And got him, and he thinks it almost hit him. Then he said, "Oh, okay, I'm just fooled." Watch his reaction to this fastball spinning away. In fact, spinning away, he couldn't really see where the ball got to the strike zone or not. He's not looking. Gary Cedarstrom was, and down he goes. So that would be the second strikeout. And the batter checking in is Gabby Sanchez, fouled away. Jeff Weaver doing a fine job. He has worked 3 innings. He needs one more out to make it 3 1/3. Then he is due to bat 4th when the Dodgers hit in the bottom of the 6th and Travis Schlichting begins to loosen up in the bullpen. 0-1 the count to Sanchez. Single to center, came around to score a run, struck out, fly to right. One ball, one strike. Off the plate. They have another Sanchez, Anibal Sanchez. They have another one, Brian Sanchez, who spells it differently. And there is Gabby. 2-1. Ground ball to third. Blake stays with it. Boy, Casey has been solid as a rock over there at third, day in and day out. A 1-2-3 inning, 7 in a row retired. At the end of 5 1/2, 6-4 Marlins. A play in the second inning. Stanton running down the line, a throw in foul ground. Casey Blake stepping on Stanton's hand, and then Mike got up and scored the run. Stanton acted like he thought it was a squeeze play because he strayed down the line, but it was anything but a squeeze with Coughlin up there. But he got away with it, and it's now a very important run, as the Marlin lead is only cut to 2. And Loney, Martin, and Johnson coming up. Jeff Weaver did a great job going 3 1/3 innings, made 50 pitches, and allowed just one man to get on when he walked in. Ugly. Outstanding. Ground ball, tough play, and Hanley makes it. 1 away. That was the play that really drove Tony Abreu to distraction over in Arizona. Going to his right, then coming up for the ball and then throwing, and Tony just couldn't do it. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Travis Schlichting has stopped throwing. Ronald Belisario now begins to throw. And Russell Martin checks in, 1 for 2 at the plate. Single is sounded to drive in the run, grounded to short, and drives one to right. In pursuit is Stanton, but this one is going to go foul. 0-1 to count. Russell with 4 home runs, 19 runs batted in. We were talking before about this year. On this day in 1991, the Rockies and the Marlins welcomed to the National League. It was a very big day in 1947 on this day. Larry Doby of the Cleveland Indians became the first black player in the American League. Here comes Ramirez. He's just done this play a couple of times. 2 down. And one other thing, on this day in 1951, the Dodgers swept the New York Giants in a 3-game series. And Charlie Dressen, the manager of the Dodgers, when asked about the Giants, he said, "The Giants are dead." And of course, the Dodgers eventually had like a 13-game lead. When he said it, they led the Giants by 7.5. And it eventually led to Bobby Thompson's home run and a Giant victory. 1-0. Reed Johnson. Boy, he wears out the left-handers. 2 for 2 tonight, hitting .379 against left-handers this year. Ground ball. Ramirez going to get them all. So the Dodgers go quietly in the 6th inning. And at the end of 6, Marlins 6, Dodgers 4. As we go to the top of the 7th, Marlins have 9 hits, and 5 hits came in the 3rd inning. And what was really interesting, all the balls hit up the middle. Wes Helms singled up the middle. That scored 2. And then the pitcher, Nate Robertson, came up and he hit a bullet to center for a base hit. And that's now the difference as Cody Ross brought the run in, and the Marlins lead 6-4. Dodgers make 2 changes. Xavier Paul is now in left field for Reed Johnson. And Ronald Belisario takes over on the mound. Belisario 1-1 going to work against Ramirez, Ugla, and Ross. The big fish. Ramirez sacrifice fly in the 1st, single to center and scored in the 3rd, and fly to right in the 4th. 13 home runs, 53 runs batted in. And a one-hopper staggers for call, but he stays with it. 1 away. So Ramirez grounding out to Rafael, and Dan Ugla coming up. Ugla hit a sharp ground ball back towards the pitcher. Eli got his glove on it. Belliard was breaking to field the ball up the middle, and Eli deflected the ball into shallow right field. That was a huge play in the first inning, and that one goes into right field. So Uggla is 3 for 3. Cody Ross coming up. That for the Marlins is their first hit since Robertson singled in the third inning. So the Marlins led 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, 6-1, then 6-2, and now 6-4. And here's Cody Ross. Cody got a base hit in the third inning, so he has hit safely in 10 straight games here at Dodger Stadium. Cody was originally signed by the Tigers, came to the Dodgers in 05. Didn't play much in 05, didn't play much in 06, and then he wound up with the Reds. 1 ball and no strikes. Cody, born in New Mexico, still lives over there at Carlsbad. Went to Carlsbad High School in New Mexico. And he hits a high fly ball to Matt Kemp. It's played. So a long out to left center. And with 2 down, the batter will be Wes Helms. Wes Helms walked, singled up the middle, fouled out. 1 for 2, batting .262. When the Dodgers come up in the bottom of the 7th, they'll have Xavier Paul, Rafael Furcal, and Ronnie Belliard. Strike. 0-1 to West. 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in. When he was in high school, everybody thought that he was going to be a top pitching prospect. Every team except the Atlanta Braves. They envisioned him being a ball player that played every day. West made it clear he didn't want to pitch. He wanted to play every night. So the Braves got him. And down he goes. So a nice impressive inning for Ronald Belisario. No runs, a hit, a man left at the end of 6.5, 6-4 Marlins, and the crowd now asked to join in the singing of God Bless America and Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and join in the singing of God Bless America. Please welcome back to the field the New Directions Choir. Now, fans, it's time for the California Lottery 7-inning stretch. Be sure to play Mega Millions from the California Lottery for a chance to win your own big league salary. Imagine what a buck could do. Please join NBC as we
Florida Marlins. They've been leading since the anthem died out into the hills in the first inning. Trying to hold on to that lead. They bring in right-hander Jose Veras to pick up for Nate Robertson. Veras is from the Dominican, was originally signed by Tampa Bay, and first came up to the big leagues with the Yankees 4 years ago. In fact, he was with the Yankees in 07, 8, and 9. Went over to the Indians, and eventually here he is with the Marlins. Xavier Paul will start it off. Strike. Belisario, remember, is hitting in Johnson's spot, so Paul, who came in at the same time, bats ninth. Xavier hitting .281. He's hit safely in 11 of 19. Popped it up around the mound. A gathering, and it will be Ugla. So Paul pops up, one away. Rafael Furcal coming up. He electrified the crowd in the fourth inning. He went down to get a pitch and hit it out with Johnson aboard. So the Dodgers got two in a hurry, but they're still trying to play catch up. Marlins lead 6-4, and here's Rafael. With that home run, he has hit safely in 9 straight. Veras 1-0 in his 10th game, has a very high earned run average. It's over 6. Veras is 6'5" and about 235 pounds. Last year, left-handers hit .259 against him, but right-handers hit only .198. 1-1. Veras will be 30 in October. Six runs, 10 hits for the Marlins, 4 runs, 7 hits for the Dodgers. And ball 2. For call 1 for 1 against Veras. And a fly ball to center. Cody Ross is there. 2 down, 7th inning, and Ronnie Belliard coming up. Belliard has popped up twice and walked. So for call 1 for 4. Fastball for a strike, 0-1. So Veras has 2 quick outs in the 7th inning, trying to protect that 6-4 lead. One and one. Ball 2. Eli, Weaver, and Belisario for the Dodgers. Robertson and Veras pitching here in the 7th inning. So Nate went 6, gave up 4 runs, 7 hits, and could get the win if Veras holds the fort. Fastball lifted to right. Stanton coming up and makes the catch. So a 1-2-3 7th inning, and we're heading for the 8th, 6-4 Marlins. nibbling away, one single after another. And of their 9 hits, 8 of them up the middle in the first 3 innings to wear on John Eli and chase him, the shortest career outing for him in a very short career. So it's 6-4 Marlins. They did all the damage in the first 3 innings. They have just 1 single after the 3rd inning. And now they'll have Ronnie Paulino, Mike Stanton, and the pitcher spot. And that would be Veras. First ball swinging, popped up to Belliard. So Paulino, the only player without a hit, and he goes 0 for 4. And here comes Stanton. Mike has acquitted himself well, doubled, scored a run, where I still wonder if he misread a sign and thought it was a squeeze back in the 2nd inning. In the 3rd inning, he hit into a force play and struck out in the 5th. Made a fine catch of a ball hit by Andre Ethier in the 5th inning, and a pretty good running catch of the fly ball to shallow right by Belliard. So the boy from Sherman Oaks has arrived in the big leagues big time. One thing that has happened to him, however, it's getting tougher. And that's the old story. It's tough to get here. It's even tougher to stay here. 1-1. Ball 2. He started his first week with the Marlins, 7 for 19. That was a .368 batting average. Since then, he's hitting less than $1.50. Ground foul outside of first. 2-2 the count to Mike Stanton. The pride of Notre Dame Academy in Sherman Oaks. 6'5", 230. He'll be 21 November the 8th. Two and two. And hit that off the hands, a little one hopper, and 2 down in the 8th inning. You know, you can take advantage of a winning combination on your way to the stadium this season. Go Metro to Union Station. Connect with the Dodger Stadium Express. Your ticket to the game grants you a free ride starting 90 minutes before every game. For more information, visit Dodgers.com/express. Mike Lamb, left-hand hitter, will come up now and bat for Veras. Lamb hitting just .194, 4 runs batted in, and ball 1. Mike is from West Covina, lives in Belinda, went to Cal State Fullerton. You may remember he played with the Rangers, but then he spent about 4 years with the Astros. So he came in contact with the Dodgers a lot. Mike is 6'1", about 195. He'll be 35 in August. Two and 0. Mike talks about sitting at home watching on television when Todd Zeile, who had played with the Cardinals, the Dodgers, and the Rangers, left the Rangers to join the New York Mets, and that meant the door was open for him. Pops it up. Casey Blake. So Belisario has retired the last 5 in a row, has given up 1 single, and it's still 6-4 Marlins. Dodgers made some noise, however, to get back in the game in the fourth inning. Russell Martin came up with a base hit earlier to cash in Casey Blake. Then in the third inning, the Dodgers on a fleet stolen base with Hanley Ramirez sitting down. Ronnie Belliard came home to score. And in the fourth inning, Rafael Percal with Johnson aboard reached the seats. And the Dodgers got closer 6-4. However, they still have a ways to go, and we're in the bottom of the eighth inning. Ethier, Kemp, and Blake against Clay Hensley. Right-hander originally drafted by the Giants. Ball one. Hensley is the answer to a quiz question. Who was the pitcher who gave up home run number 755 to Barry Bonds to tie Henry Aaron? You are looking at him. Clay is from Tomball, Texas, lives in Pearland, Texas, went to Lamar University. He's 5'11" now. In high school, he was about 5'8", played center field and ran hurdles. He's pitching in a hurry, and he's behind 3-0 to Andre Ethier. And he walks him. So the skipper Rodriguez looks anxiously as Hensley now allows Matt Kemp to be the potential tying run. In looking at Hensley's numbers, he is 1-3, 15 walks, 45 strikeouts, so just about 3-1. By the way, after Barry Bonds hit that big home run against Hensley, he gave the starting pitcher an autographed bat. That's a strike. Down in the bullpen, right-hander Brian Sanchez and left-hander Taylor Tankersley throwing behind Hensley. Oh, 1. He's off the rubber. Hensley was always a starting pitcher, and he was finally moved to the bullpen in 2008. Then last year he went back as a starter in New Orleans, but he's back in the bullpen again. 0-2. Matt Kemp struck out, hit into a force play, stole a base, grounded to third. Big crowd, and they're really into it. 47,801. 0-2. Off speed. Hensley basically fastball, slider, curveball, cutter, and a changeup. 1-2. And a high fly ball to shallow right. Mike Stanton is there. So Kemp, who had gone the other way, tries it to right field, but to no avail. 1 down. And Casey Blake coming up. Blake doubled, struck out, reached on an error, and was thrown out trying to steal with Loney at the plate. That was in the 5th inning. Six to 4 in favor of the Marlins. Andre Ethier over at first base. 1 for 1 in stolen bases. The closer for the Marlins is Leo Nunez. He has 17 saves. And of course the strategy is to get the ball to Nunez. 1 out, 8th inning, 6-4 Marlins. Fastball missing, 1-0. James Loney on deck. Torrey, Schaefer, intent on this one. Little roller up along third. Tough play for Helms. Pitcher with the glove. Flows. Got him. Nice play by Wes Helms. Most of the time you will see a third baseman try to barehand that, but he used the glove, which also gives the base runner a split second extra, while Helms had to transfer from the glove to the throwing hand, and Blake is just nipped at first. Because how many times have we seen a third baseman try to barehand it on the dead run and unable to do it? So West made the play. Ethier moves to second, and with 2 down, James Loney. Loney is grounded to second, looped out to short, grounded to short, 0 for 3. Down in the Dodger bullpen, Justin Miller and Jonathan Broxton. And I guess it would depend on what the Dodgers do in the 8th for Torrey's choice. Ball 1. James hitting .303, 5 home runs, 56 runs batted in. Game 1 of a 3-game series. That's a strike. Tomorrow night, Chris Volstad, a right-hander against Vicente Padilla, and the ace of the staff will go against the Dodgers Wednesday night. That will be Josh Johnson, the All-Star, who is 8-3, and he'll go against Hiroki Kuroda. Two balls, 1 strike. Off the plate, ball 3. Russell Martin waiting on deck. For Loney, he is 2 for 4 in the past against Hensley. Martin 1 for 2. And that's line down the left field line, base hit. That will score Ethier, and Loney, the tying run, is now at second base. So James Loney just goes with what they give him. It was up and away, so he went to left field for the double. 57 RBIs now for Loney. It is 6-5 Marlins, and Russell Martin trying to pick him up and get the Dodgers even with Garrett Anderson on deck. It's been a long, hard climb for the Dodgers. They trail 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, 6-1, 6-2, 6-4, now 6-5. And ball 1 to Martin. One ball and no strikes. Comebacker knocked down by Hensley. That'll be that. So Martin hits it hard, but back to the pitcher. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 big man left. And the Dodgers are 1 short, 6-5. Marlins clinging now to what is a 6-5 lead. The Marlins have had one hit since the third inning. And the Dodgers trying to stop them one more time. Ronald Belisario gave up a single in the seventh inning, then retired 5 in a row. So we're in the ninth. It'll be Coghlan, Sanchez, and Ramirez. 6 runs, 10 hits for the Marlins. 5 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers. The Giants won. They beat the Brewers 6-1. The Padres were idle today. So the Dodgers will trail by either 3 or 4, depending upon the outcome of the game. Coghlan single scored a run. Since then, struck out twice and flied to left. The Marlins took great advantage of young John Eli and scored 6 runs against him, but they've been completely shut down by Weaver and Belisario. Ground ball for call. Away. When the Dodgers come up in the ninth inning, they will have a hitter for Belisario. It might be Garrett Anderson, then Xavier Paul and Rafael Furcal. And I would expect Leo Nunez, who is the closer, to be called in from the fish tank in right field. Gabby Sanchez singled to center and struck out. Flied to right, grounded to third. Shows bunt, strike. It is Nunez down in the pen. On deck, Hanley Ramirez. The Marlins in one-run games this year are 9-16. Their record on the road in one-run games, 3-8. The Dodgers in one-run games are 5 games above 500. They're 15-10 and 10-3 at home. 1-2. Gabby 1 for 4. Marlins had 2 runs on 3 hits in the first inning. 1 run, 1 hit in the second. 3 runs on 5 hits in the third. And they haven't really been heard from again. 1 hit and have not had a man reach second base. Jeff Weaver was brilliant. 50 pitches, 3 1/3 innings, no runs. Fastball, and it's Blake in front of Furcal to get him. So the Fish are not doing any swimming right now, but they're still leading by 1. And here is Hanley Ramirez. Handled with care. Had the scoring fly ball, single to center, scored a run, flied to right, grounded to short. 1 for 3. Check swing, foul, 0-1 to count. Hanley Ramirez, 13 home runs, 52 runs batted in, and picked up 1 to make it 53. The All-Star shortstop. We'll see the All-Star pitcher, Josh Johnson, Wednesday night against Hiroki Kuroda. Tomorrow night, Chris Volstad and Vicente Padilla. Hard ground ball, but Furcal's at the other end of it. All right. The Fish go quietly, but at the end of 8 1/2, Leo Nunez getting ready. 6-5, Florida. We're going to the bottom of the 9th inning, 6-5 Marlins, and what we expected has come to pass. Leo Nunez is out on the mound, and Garrett Anderson is out on deck. So the Dodgers will have Garrett Anderson to hit for Ronald Belisario, then Xavier Paul and Rafael Furcal. Leo Nunez from the Dominican Republic, 6'1", 175, 27 years old. He was a teammate, and he came up through the Royals organization, and he joined the Marlins in 09 after having been drafted by the Pirates. And in 09, Nunez picked up his first major league save. He had 26 that year, but he got his first save, striking out the only batter he faced, and unaware of the ball's significance, Ronnie Paulino, his catcher, gave it to a young fan in the stands who was wearing an arm cast. Well, Paulino's handling him right now, and it's a strike to Garrett Anderson. Anderson hitting 189, 2 home runs, 11 runs batted in. Garrett with 9 hits, including a home run, as a pinch hitter. 1-1. Leo Nunez, in looking at his work last year, left-handers hit 234 against him. Right-handers hit 225. Fastball, slider, change, and he's been working on a cutter. 1-1. Pulled and fielded in fair ground by Sanchez. So Garrett hits the ball hard right at the first baseman. He hit a couple of balls very hard in Arizona, had Rusty Ryle playing first. So 1 out, and Xavier Paul coming up. Nunez making sure Gabby Sanchez was all right. The Marlins stopped completely offensively. They started off the game 9 for 15. They went 1 for 20 after that. And the Dodgers, trying to come back, have gotten to within 1. 1 out in the 9th. 6-5 Marlins. On 1. Off the plate. By the way, with Manny Ramirez in the lineup, the Dodgers have been 29-20. Without him, they're a break-even 16-16, and they won't have him until after the All-Star game. Towering pop fly. It will be whom? It will be Ramirez. So Xavier Paul, big league pop fly, 2 down. And the batter, Rafael Furcal. So for Joe Torre, whose ball club weathered that long 18-game schedule, split them, then had the brief road trip, went out and won 5 out of 6. But they are haunted by the Eastern Division. They have all the great numbers within the West, but they are 4-9 against the East with 2 out in the 9th inning. Furcal 1 for 4, 2-run home run. Ball 1 to Rafael. Grounded to third, fly to center, homered to extend his hitting streak to 9, and fly to center. 2-0. Nunez 3-2. He has saved 17, 9 walks, 34 strikeouts. That's a strike. So almost 4-1. Leo in his 36th game. Ball 3. On deck, Ronnie Belliard. 47,801 taken in the action here. That's a strike. 3-2. Got him. So Nunez strikes out for a call. The Dodgers go quietly in the 9th inning and could just not catch up after the Fish got out in front early and stayed there. For Nunez, he comes in, makes 12 pitches for the save, and the left-handed Nate Robertson is the winner. So the Dodgers are now 11-13 against left-handers, 4-7 at home, and they are 4 games back of the San Diego Padres. Stay tuned for Dodgers Live. It's coming up next. Good night, everybody.